Young Neil, do you come here often?
I do actually, about 3 times a week.
Yeah.
That's an original chat-up line, Jeff.
Oh, well, I'm like that.
My mum's warned me about guys like you.
Less of that, young man. So, listen, this training thing, obviously I know it's important to you, but is this an all-round Neil fitness thing, is it? Is it stamina, muscle building, the whole thing?
Yeah. I mean, to ride a motorcycle, you don't want to be too muscly anyway, you don't want to be muscle-bound. Because every time you crash, you'd pull muscles, you know. When you push weights, you build muscle, and if you'll see every rider, people like Schwantz, you've got to be slim really and carry at least amount of weight as possible. So I combined doing a lot of light weights with mountain biking, swimming, running, you know, and it's just the weight side of it is to keep the strength there, but to keep everything toned up. I don't want to be too strong, and I don't want to build muscle. So you have to be careful all the time. You have to limit the amount of time I spend in the gym.
Do you keep this training up through the winter as well, or do you go to fat and flab and all
No,
the rest of it?
not at all. At the end of the season, I usually have about a month off, which is just about enough. I get away completely from motorcycles. I get away from healthy eating. I get away from the gym, and I just relax and I go out with my mates, and you know I slob out, if that's a phrase you could use. But after a month, I've had enough of that. You know, I do enjoy training. I speak to a lot of riders, and they don't actually enjoy training at all, and to them it's like a chore. And for me, it's fun. You know, I love it. I get paid to ride motorcycles. The best thing I can do is when I turn up at a race meeting is turn up at the fittest I could possibly be, because when you're in a race, you don't know if your tyres are going to last 25 laps. You don't know if the engine's going to last. So all you can do is guarantee that you're 100% fit.
Because keeping yourself physically fit, that's got to be important for some of the temperatures that you're racing as well, where it's very hot, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when you do the British Championships, you're racing in England, you do 15 laps and it's not too hot. But when you're doing the World Championships, I race twice in a day in places like Malaysia and Indonesia, and it's 35 to 40, you know, and that is hot. And it's not just the heat that gets you; it's the humidity
as well.
And you know, you can't breathe. And the first time I went to Malaysia was in '93, and I wasn't very fit, and I couldn't believe how bad it was. And that was riding a 125. So since then, I've really pulled my finger out, and you know, I've got my fitness head back together, and I've been putting in some hard work.
Training's obviously important to you, and so you find when you're at home. But what do you do when you're on your travels around the world? Do you have to go and seek out a local gym, or what?
It's funny, you know, in all the different countries we go to, in Australia and America, I know exactly where the gym is. I usually know the people that run it, because over 3 or 4 years now of doing the circuit, you get to know people, and they're normally really friendly. They remember your face, and it's like, oh, you're back to race, you know, and it's good. It's nice to go to different gyms and meet different people.
Now, on this fitness thing, I mean, there's more to it than just the physical self, as it were. There's the mental self as well. And I've been reading a few of these stories about you going to see some German professor and all the rest of it. What's behind that bit?
Well, it's funny that, because a lot of people have asked me this question. I think everybody's opinion is that I've been seeing this psychiatrist, which I haven't been. I went to Germany once, just before Christmas, for a fitness test, and I flew to Munich, and I went to a university in Munich, and I met this professor. He's called Professor Hackfort. And he did just a general overall fitness test, and he did some what he calls psychological tests, and basically all they were just like reaction tests and things like that. And he assessed my results, and he sort of pinpointed where I could improve. Yeah. But it's not a psychiatrist or anything like that. People have been saying, "Oh, you've been seeing this special shrink. Can I have his telephone number?" Other motorcyclists have been saying that. So it's not actually what it seems. It was very interesting to see, and it's something I'd never done before.
So there's no repeat visits? 'Cause I mean, one of the links was that you've obviously got some innate ability, but there's this concentration thing. Again, Neil, I'm tending to go on what I've read, and so, but that wasn't behind it then. So
no, well, if you read it in a newspaper, it must be factual. It's got to be, Jeff, because they never make a mistake or even slightly exaggerate, do they?
No, that's true.
No, it's the point that you made about the concentration is something that I have suffered with a little bit, and I can blame myself, but I can also blame the team a little bit for that. And the lack of preparation we had in pre-season testing with just the overall package of the suspension and tyres. And what I found was, in the races, I could do 5 or 6 fast laps. But when push came to shove and it was the last 5 laps and my tyres had gone off, and we just didn't get the bike set up right. Hence, you know, the last 5 laps I could drop 2 or 3 places and go from a good position, say 5th, down to 8th place, you know, so that is a problem, partly mine and partly Ducati's, but hopefully we're going to rectify those problems for this year.